Hey everyone, all right, we are here in downtown Norfolk. We are at the Neon House off of Granby Street. I actually used to live around this area and it is such a cool artsy district. I'm super excited to share with you guys. I am chatting today with the Terry Meeuwsen. Look, we see each other all the time. We see each other in the studios, we pass each other, we wave, we hug each other, we blow kisses. We just show each other such love and support all the time. But I'm so excited to share with you guys that this is my very first one-on-one chat with her. Today, we get to hear the heart behind Orphan's Promise, the organization and ministry that she founded almost 20 years ago. They have been doing incredible work for children, women, and families, again, for almost 20 years. So without further ado, this is my chat with the Terry Meeuwsen. I first just wanted to say that this is such a cool moment for me personally, just because, well, first off, not only are you the Terry Meeuwsen,
oh,
I mean,
please.
come on. But it's really cool for me because I have always had a passion for empowering women and children and girls in other countries. And that's something that I just absolutely love about Orphan's Promise is that you guys really are doing incredible work to empower women, but give them dignity in countries where they don't value women. They don't value girls. You are restoring dignity to families, to children, to little girls, to little boys, and to women and single moms and grandmothers and everything like that.
You know, dignity is, we were created to have that. And then the fall, darn Eve. Guess Adam was involved in that too, but
True,
but
yeah.
I do think that when we don't have dignity, we can't figure out who we are and what our purpose is. And so, you know, you're right. In many cultures, dignity is especially denied girls, women. But honestly, in third world countries, dignity is denied people who are in poverty. Poverty does terrible things to people. And so, you know, it's just a privilege to go in and to first of all meet just regular needs, you know, the kind of things that get in the way of figuring out who we are. Hunger and lack of education and lack of the knowledge of God. So that was from the very beginning, one of our first commitments was that we would want to do those things that quiet the growling stomach. And that, you know, bring the brain to life and to dream. But also in the midst of that we would never do that without telling them who God is, how much He loves them, that they were created with dignity, intentionally with purpose, because that's what sets people free. You know, the hunger can be stayed for a time, and the mind continues to need to be stimulated. But once we know who we are in God, there's a hope in that sticks out right in the middle of the darkness, in the middle of the desolation or the desperation, and says, you can be. And I love that.
Yeah. Another thing that I love about Orphan's Promise, and obviously we host different shows, 700 Club, 700 Club Interactive, and I see so many amazing stories that Orphan's Promise is doing around the world. And what I love is that you guys don't necessarily give families a handout, but you give them a hand up, is like what you guys like to say. And I think it's important because, you know, you're giving them something to do, to learn, that's going to not just benefit them in the moment, but also long term. For example, I've seen stories from Orphan's Promise where it's single mothers, single grandmothers raising their children. Orphan's Promise, you guys want to keep families together because you know how powerful that family unit is to culture and society. But you go in and you help these mothers and grandmothers. You give them a business. You teach them how to do things that immediately changes the trajectory of their family, hopefully gets them out of poverty. But then in the long run, you're again dignifying the way these people are looking at women and children and families. Can you just talk more about that?
Well, isn't that what dignity is? Dignity is I can, I am. And I I dream, and those dreams are possible. And so, but family, that's another deal altogether, because, family is the thing that gives us a sense of belonging, a sense of where I come from. And as a mom of adopted children, I see that even when God plants you in a safe place and a good place, and a place where there's love and where you're wanted, there are still abandonment issues. And I think taking children out of families, well, we don't take them out, but when they come out of families because of hardship, of course there's healing. That's why they need to know Jesus, because there are no mistakes with God. He knew us before, he knows us now, and he knows our tomorrow. But family is so significant. And how do we expect children who come from broken homes to know how to have family, how to be family in the future, if we don't have a family setting for them? So whether it's grandma and grandpa, or a single mom or a single dad in some instances, or a family setting. We have some places where there are so many children without family, especially places where there's been war or famine or great loss. To have the opportunity to take a widow, for example, or a single mom and say, we want you to be the mom to this small group of children. And, we're going to make that both a business for you, but a calling for you. We're going to teach you how to do that. We're going to make sure you have everything you need to do it well, but we need these children to belong here. I think everybody gets that. You don't have to be somebody who's well educated to understand the value of family, but sometimes you can't control what happens with that. I cannot tell you how many grandparents I see who are raising children. Can I say not just in third world countries, in the good old United States of America. And so we've lost some of the commitment to that. It's what made generations past strong. They got it. They knew it. Not that people didn't ever have families that fell apart, but for the most part, it was frowned upon. It wasn't just part of how we live. I'm not suggesting that people stay in difficult situations that need to be interfered with, but we need to provide for them. And so to be able to say children are in families, that was really the initial, really the thing that broke my heart about adoption. When we went to get our daughters from Ukraine, I remember driving away, and as we drove away with our 3 girls after a month of being there and getting to know some of these children, and then looking back and seeing all these little faces, noses pressed up against the window saying, when is somebody coming for me? And knowing that like 1% or less will ever be adopted. This was an orphanage of 350 kids, and we were just taking 3 away.
Wow.
And my heart broke. I thought, God, who goes for them? Well, I knew,
Here's a
I
tissue.
couldn't.
Wait, hold
Thank you. It's the blight of my life. I
Come
once
get one
told
for
God I
myself,
would
too.
never cry, and this is the aftermath of that. Never say never.
Yeah, right. Never say never.
Anyway, that was how the concept of Orphan's Promise came to be, because in thinking about it, we said, what could we do to make life different for these children that are not going to have families, that are not going to come out of this setting? Well, first of all, they are going to come out at 16, but they come out with no idea of family. 16. No understanding of how to manage money, how to cook, how to keep their clothes clean, nothing. It's all done for you in an orphanage. So we said, what could we do to elevate them? We said, well, if they knew some English, that would be more than most of the kids in their environment would know. And if they knew how to use computers well, that would be job option. And then we had what we called the School of Life. And it was all these things I just mentioned. How do you manage money? How do you cook? How do you clean your clothes? And who is God? Who is God to me? And who am I to God? And so in time, though those were 3 classes at our centers, The class that was the most popular was the School of Life, because they started to see that their lives had purpose and meaning, and that there was a God who was a father who'd never
Yes.
leave them or forsake them,
Yeah.
and who loved them indefinitely and in spite of all else, and who wanted to see them succeed. And that was powerful.
Yeah.